All right. Hi, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started. This is the webinar, Unlocking the Power of Pinterest for Realtors. We're really excited here today to be joined by Anna Van Landingham, who is a Pinterest expert and consultant and has a lot to share when it comes to the opportunity for real estate agents and people in the real estate or home decor business to really take advantage of the opportunity presented by Pinterest to grow their businesses, acquire new customers, and really market their brands. And I'm Jilly Bedanes from Viral Tag. We are a marketing platform for visual content, and I'll show you a little bit about Viral Tag later in the webinar. But to get started, we're going to be talking today about the opportunity presented by Pinterest, as I mentioned, especially for people in real estate. We're going to be talking about how to kind of prepare yourself to use Pinterest. We're going to talk through a few different approaches, and Anna's going to share her tactics as well for how to really get started. And we'll talk a little bit about the execution of these strategies and how tools like Viral Tag can be really useful to you. And then we'll save time at the end for questions. Please feel free to jot down both of our email addresses. Mine is jilly@viraltag.com. Anna is anna@pinterestpro.com. And join in the conversation on Twitter as well. Just use the hashtag ViralTagWebinar if you want to share any comments or questions on Twitter. You can also, of course, pop any questions in the question box throughout this webinar, and we will answer them at the end. And please, if there are any technical issues or anything that comes up during the webinar, please let us know if you aren't able to hear us or see the screen or anything along those lines. Please let us know. But otherwise, I'm going to turn it over to Anna to get started talking about Pinterest and real estate.
Hello everyone, I'm Anna Van Landingham, and as Jilly told you, I have a company called Pinterest Pro Solutions. And I'm going to talk with you today about how you can use Pinterest with real estate. A lot of you that are in the real estate market look like this. You think, okay, how can I reach more clients? I've tried all sorts of things, but I wish I had a magic solution. And I know that word of mouth is good, but how can I expand that? How can I get the word out there more to people and let people know how we are? Before we get started with that, I wanted to do a little bit of a review of some of the things I talked about in the last seminar about as far as mapping out your course with Pinterest. It's very important to do your research up front and to take a look at the categories. As you can see here, I have those here. And see where your company, where real estate fits in those categories. Once you do that, that is where you come up with your keywords. And I suggest that you have a spreadsheet with those on there and have them always in front of you whenever you're creating pins and writing your descriptions. And then, of course, from that, you need to develop a plan of action of how you're going to go about utilizing each part of this. And of course, once you have your plan in action, then you're going to map out your course. And so all the things like the name of the pin file, the description of the pin and board, the name of your board, your account name and description, all play a factor in people clicking on, finding your pins, clicking on your pins, and finding their way to your website. In observing people in real estate on Pinterest, I've noticed that mainly what they do is just put their houses up there that they have for sale. And really, that's not fully utilizing Pinterest. If you stop and you think about it, you have those houses for sale on your website, so they're already there. What you're wanting to do is to figure out how can I attract people to where they're wanting to click to my website to go and see these houses I have for sale. And I feel like that there are two different approaches. One is, I call it a curator of information. That's where, as a real estate broker, you think about who your market is, and you think about what kind of information would they like to know to be able to, make a better educated judgment as far as buying a house is concerned. And so you are the curator here. And so for the consumers, and then you create information, put it on your Pinterest boards, and you get that out there to the elite, and you become the elite in the market. And the other one is by forming alliances with the people that you use as resources. I'm talking about people such as the handyman that you recommend, the roofing company, and these types of things, because most real estate brokers have certain people that they call or recommend whenever their buyer needs something or the seller needs something. And so if you work together and use Pinterest, you can form this, I say it's like a consortium, and you can achieve a lot more. And as a result, you're going to all be very successful in doing that. So if you think about it a minute, as a curator of information, people want to know how are the schools in the area where where they're looking at a house. So why not have a board that is telling about the schools? Now, if your market is married with children, then you definitely want to have a lot of good information about this. If I were a real estate broker, I would even team up with the local schools so that I had a lot of good information showing activities and all sorts of things that are going on with the schools, and totally dedicating that board to that. Shopping, what kind of shopping is in the area? Is shopping close, or am I going to have to drive a long distance? And you could really highlight some cute little shops maybe that are just special to that area. Community events. What kind of community events take place? Because there are people, if they're a DINK, a double income, no kids, they really like to have community events that they can go to and enjoy. Entertainment. Again, thinking about your market, what type of entertainment, because most real estate brokers have a certain market that they focus on. If yours is senior citizens, then you wouldn't want to you wouldn't want to have a bunch of boards showing the discos or a bunch of things that are going to cause a lot of noise. But if you are most of your market is single males or single females, then you would want to highlight areas in the things in the area where they could go dancing or they could go to concerts and that sort of thing. And then your community amenities, are there parks in the area, local libraries? What does the community have to offer for the person? And then information about traffic. Now, for each one of these topics, I would make a board, and I would have up-to-date, outstanding information about each one of these things, and I would also make sure that I have good photos to use, because the images, of course, are important. That's what attracts people's attention. Now, when you're doing all this, focus on where your niche is. Think about the age. As I said before, when you're thinking about things like schools, entertainment, and so forth, what age do you generally cater to? If yours is senior citizens, then schools, that board I wouldn't put as much emphasis on as I would types of community activities they could be involved in, like yoga or playing cards. I know a lot of the ladies like to get together and play bridge or some of those types of things. Their ethnicity. If your market is primarily a Hispanic market, and you know that in a given area of the community that there are a lot of stores that have Hispanic type of seasonings and so forth, then you would want to have a board with all that information on there. And if you stop and think about it, that's a whole category on Pinterest. So that would be a way of attracting people to your Pinterest account and getting them to click on those images and go to your website. And of course, the income level is important. If it's singles, then affordability is definitely going to be a factor. So you could maybe have dedicate a whole board to showing, the median price of houses in this area and what type of house it would be and the type of neighborhood that they would be in. And then, of course, what is their education level? Because depending on the education level, it's going to influence factors that they're interested in, such as community events, uh, things that are offered, the community amenities, and so forth. So, those are the kinds of things you want to create Pinterest boards for, not just boards with houses for sale. Now, let's look at some of these markets. For example, you have your single female. Well, you have your single female that is the hipster, and then you have your single female that's the mom. Now, each one of those is a totally different market. So if yours is the single female hipster, you're going to have boards that have fun things to do, showing, more of a party life. But if yours is more of a market with a single female mom, you wouldn't want to have boards that are emphasizing those types of things. You would want to have boards that are emphasizing things that the children could do. So for the single female neighborhoods, they're interested in, the hipster is interested in, how does it look on Instagram? That's really their primary concern, because they want to take a lot of selfies and they want it to look good. They're concerned about affordability and the quality of the neighborhood. So you would want to have boards showing the neighborhood, highlighting great photo ops, really, that they could take, because that's going to appeal to them. They're going, oh, I like that. Go to there, and it may not be them. It could be a friend that they then refer to you. But if it's a single mom, then you would want to have, they're more concerned, as I said before, in, what is available as far as my children, what they can do. Also daycare, is there good quality daycare close so that it will make it easy for me to be able to, utilize the daycare and be able to get to my job on time, because that's important. By contrast, if it's the single male is who you have in your market and you are trying to sell houses to, then if it's a single male workaholic, okay, that market is totally different from your single male mega bachelor, because that workaholic, the only thing he's worried about is a place to lay his head at night, because he's not at his residence really that long. Whereas your bachelor, he's going to do entertaining because he wants to look cool, okay? So with your single male workaholic, you would want to have boards that's going to emphasize things that would show how easily they could get to work. When I talk about the single male workaholic, I think about like downtown areas. For example, I'm in Florida, and St. Petersburg downtown has just exploded, and there are a lot of very high quality luxury apartments down there, luxury condos. And so the whole idea is that these workaholics, they love to rent those or to buy those because it's very easy for them to then get to the office. And so you would want to highlight showing, the wonderful bike trails, say, that would enable them to get to work, or, the beautiful pathways that they could take to walk to work, and some of those types of things, because that's what they're primarily concerned with. With a workaholic, you could also emphasize some of the restaurants in the area, because think about it. If they're a workaholic, they're probably going to eat a lot of their meals at the office. So that would be another way to get their attention. But if it's the mega bachelor, you're going to have to think more about fun things that they like to do, like happy hours at bars. And I would even get some of the local bars and restaurants to give me information. I'd form a very good relationship with them. And you could even, get them to offer prizes and so forth. And they're also going to be looking at a different type of condo or townhouse or home, because your mega bachelor, it's going to be more of a modern look. And because they want, the black appliances, the black furniture, because that makes them look sharp. And then you have your unmarried couple. You have your unmarried couple that's roommates, and you have your unmarried couple that's a part of the LGBT community. And of course, this group, the unmarried couple LGBT, is becoming a part of the married couple group. But let's take a look at each one of those. With the unmarried couple roommates, they are more concerned with making sure that we can, divide the lines. Yeah, they're concerned with affordability in the neighborhood and all, but their main concern is, do I have my own bedroom? Do I have my own bathroom? I have a friend that owns a home in Oxford, Mississippi, which is where the University of Mississippi is located. And there are lots of very nice homes there that are built specifically to be, people will invest in them and then rent out to college students. And it can be a 5-bedroom house. Every bedroom has its own bathroom. So those are the kinds of things that they're looking for. They label things. You can see in the refrigerator here how I put names on each one of the shelves so that they can have those lines of demarcation. And of course, that type of client or clientele is going to be different. With the roommate clientele, it could be investors, real estate investors, because they know that it's a good investment because they'll be able to rent out the rooms. But if it's the LGBT unmarried couples, that's a whole different market. They're going to behave more like a married couple, really. And so they're going to be more concerned with, things looking nice, being fashionable, and so forth. And with the LGBT community, the great part about that is that if you can come up with boards that attract them, is they also a lot of them like to have summer homes or homes away from home. And so there you go. There's 2 sales there. So with that, I would emphasize, if that's a market you're going after, I would form a relationship with the LGBT Chamber of Commerce, feature different activities they have going on, any gay bars that are in the area, all sorts of things that that this market enjoys. And then, of course, you have your married couple. And you have your married couples with the dogs, and you have your dinks. And here again, 2 different markets. Your married couple with the dogs, their child is that dog. The dink, their child is their house. So with the married couple with the dog, they're going to be looking for things that's dog friendly. They want to find a dog friendly neighborhood. For example, in my neighborhood, people laugh at me because I can tell you where each dog lives in the neighborhood, but I may not know the owner. And that's because dogs are very important to me. My dog is my child. Whereas with your dinks, generally speaking, your dinks are people that like to renovate their homes, and so they are going to look, say, in the historic district. And so in doing that, you would want to emphasize things about, with the historic district, the types of activities. And with renovation, you would have some do-it-yourself boards. They would be very interested in that, and that would get their attention and attract them to you. And then you have your married with children, and that's a whole nother market. And you could have a lot of fun with it, because with the shopping, you could show, where the people could shop in the local marketplace to find things for their children. You would want to definitely emphasize school activities or any other activities that are going on in the community for children. Family type activities that they could do. The biking trails would be nice. Going rafting, anything. Also, whether it's a safe neighborhood for their children to be able to play outside or not. And so those are some of the things that you would want to emphasize with them. And for a lot of people, transportation is important. They may not have a car, so they want to make know, what type of public transportation is close to where I'm going to buy a house. So I would feature that transportation system and how they would be able to get a ticket and their routes and being able to get to the public transportation. Or bike, if they are a workaholic, then you would want to emphasize that in the area there are bike lanes that they can use. So that's, parking is another issue. Are there parking garages in the area that are affordable and all? So hopefully you're seeing some of the other things that you could emphasize. Now, another idea that I've developed, and I've done this with a couple of groups, is form alliances with your people. And so when you form your alliances, let me go back a minute, I'm sorry. You have your remodeling and additions, your handyman, you have all these different people that you utilize and you refer. So what I have done with a couple of realtors is that you have these people and they're really your consortium and you're like the hub for them. So why not, say, let's work together here, because we know that a home is always a work in progress. And so we could put together a Pinterest account and we could become a source of information for people in, anything that is related as far as real estate is concerned. And even after I, as a real estate agent, sell a house, it will mean lots of more work for you because, let's face it, if somebody buys a used home, there's always going to be some work to be done. And, like your handyman or your handy woman, let's not forget either one, okay? And they could have all kinds of things. They could have, ways to fix a leaky faucet. They could have on their life hacks of things that they could do for easy fixes around the house and all. You could have with your remodeling and additions, because most people, whenever they buy a house, they want two rooms they immediately usually want to redo unless it's already been done. It's the kitchen and the bathrooms. And so this person could really show some great ideas of how to go about doing that and offer some good tips and also things for them to look for when considering remodeling. Again, these are ways to attract people to the Pinterest account and get them interested in clicking through to your website. Also, most real estate brokers, have people in the finance industry. For example, your mortgage broker, investment teams, like I talked about with a real estate investment. So, bring them on board and they could talk about with the investments, they could have all kinds of things on there, wonderful tips to people about how, things to consider, things to look at if you're considering, doing the investment property. What banks are in the area? And if I were a banker, I would want to have a board on your account because then that gives me first priority to these people. And, a roofing company, even, a lot of houses when they go on the market, they have to have a new roof. If not, eventually they probably are. So that roofing company could have boards on there. They could have boards on there telling people about, what to look for to see, if a roof on a house you're considering buying needs to be replaced. And they could have, tips on there of comparing the different type of roofing material and helping people in being able to make a decision as far as that's concerned. Your landscaping and lawn services. A lot of people, once they buy a new house, they want to, landscape the yard and make it look better. And so that's another. And, on Pinterest, there's a whole category on, gardens. And so they could have all kinds of wonderful tips about what types of plants to use, what's some natural things that they could use for fertilizer or for pest control, and so forth. So it could really be things that would attract people. Your heating and cooling. I wish this number of people would show up when I have a problem with my cooling system. That would be great. And, think about your plumber, how to fix a leaky faucet. And so, we got to have the male and the female. I want the one on the left. But, and they could have a great boards showing, you know, for example, with a garbage disposal, pro, vegetables that have starch in them, like, if you're peeling potatoes, you really shouldn't put them down your garbage disposal because it causes them to clog up. See, that's a life hack right there that they could have on their board. And, electricians. So, got to add a little humor, which, I put this up here because to emphasize that you can find humor in any industry. And so you, of course, want an electrician at your disposal because that's something that not a lot of people want to mess with unless they're certified in the industry. That's something that people are scared of. So, again, uh, they could have great tips on things you should consider when you're buying a home, like looking at the fuse box and, what to look for there, because you definitely don't want your people doing this. And, I say all these things to realtors and they say, yeah, but how? So I say they have the mad how disease. And let me show you how. You're going to take all these people and you're going to have each one of them form 3 or 4 boards. They're going to have nice quality images. They're going to have great tips, information that will attract people to your Pinterest account, and then click through to your company. So you become the hub for all these different companies. You become like a mall for real estate on the internet. And each one of you utilizes your social media, your email list, any print advertising that you do, and you make them aware that this hub is there on Pinterest for them to take a look at. And so think of the numbers there of sharing. And let's face it, if your plumber, your electrician, your handyman are sending out this information on their email list, it's getting your name in front of them. And let's face it, it's a numbers game. So you build this and you become the source of information for people that are wanting to buy a house or to sell a house. And you do this by everybody sharing and working together. And so you become the knowledge transfer machine for people. And you say, yeah, but how does that work? Well, take a look at this. with your resource people, they're going to love it because even, as I said before, even after you have sold the home, people can go to your Pinterest account and find whatever resource they need. Whenever they have an electrical problem, a plumbing problem, whatever, you become that go-to place for them. And so remember, there are two approaches. You can be a curator of information about the community and activities that are going on, or form alliances and work together with the resource people that you have. Whichever method that you decide to go with, both of them are ways to work together for success. And so you may be thinking, where do all these pins images come from? Well, you can upload your own pin from other websites, pin from your website, or save other pinners' pins, but also Viral Tag has a resource of images for you. And now I'll let Julie tell you about that.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you so much, Anna. That was such a great overview. I love your photos as well. Really, really well done. So yeah, now that you have a strategy for knowing what you need to share, what sort of information you want to be providing to your audience, then the next step is really figuring out how do you easily execute that plan. And Viral Tag is here to help you execute that strategy. So knowing what you want to do, then it's really just putting that into action and doing so consistently. I'm sorry, my slide is a little bit messed up, but you can see this is an image of our dashboard. So we are a full all-in-one platform to help you find content, visual content to share, meaning photos, graphics, any kind of imagery, and then schedule it to be posted on social media. And this can be across any social media that you're on, but of course, a big focus on Pinterest. So on Viral Tag, you can pull in info that you have of your own. So maybe you take some photos around the community, or you have pictures of your properties. You can pull those in from whatever source you have them on. With Viral Tag, it's really easy to just drag them in either from your computer or pull them in from Dropbox or Facebook, wherever they might live. You can also find photos that you can share from a few different sources. You can search we have a big database of popular photos that are being shared through Viral Tag. These are great things to support that curator approach that Anna was talking about. And you can search by keyword, you can search by category, and find really great stuff to curate from. You can also use our browser extension, which allows you to go anywhere on the web, and just clicking this button, you can bring up all the photos that are on that web page and click to schedule directly to your board straight from that web page. So another just great way to make it easy. And finally, we are running on Pinterest data now. We're a Pinterest API partner, so we are giving you the best info and feedback on how your pins are performing, because the really final important part of the strategy is testing out what you're doing and seeing how your community is reacting to everything you're sharing, seeing what's getting shared, what's getting repinned, what's getting clicked through. And with Viral Tag, we really simply tell you what's getting the most engagement, what's getting the click-throughs, and what's driving traffic to your website. Ultimately your goal that Anna showed, kind of that end of the pin cycle. With Viral Tag, you can see how it's working. So love for you guys to check out Viral Tag if you're interested. We're going to go ahead and open it up to questions for now. So feel free to throw a question in the question box, or you can tweet at us with the Viral Tag webinar. And let's see, I guess let's see where the questions come in. Anna, I'll let you tell the audience a little bit about the special that you're offering today as well, while we wait for questions to come in.
Okay. I have just got my online course up and running on my website, and so I'm offering $5 off on the course. And this is the URL for you to go to here and to sign up for the course. And to get the $5 off, what you need to do is simply go to my Contact Us page, my website, which here is the URL for that. And what I want you to do is to fill out the form, which of course gives me your name and email address, and just simply put what was an aha for you after, listening to the webinar. What was something that you hadn't thought of before? Because that helps me to improve my presentations. And so by doing that, I will give back by giving you the $5 off. And so I will send you a discount code that you can input there and whenever you sign up for the course.
Awesome. That's great. Yeah, it'd be great for anyone to take advantage of that offer from Anna. We're also offering a discount to try out Viral Tag. So you can give it a try for 2 weeks. We have a free trial that's open to everyone, but then we're also offering a special coupon code to get 50% off your first 2 months that you subscribe to one of our paid plans. And you just use the coupon code 50 off 2 months when you subscribe to Viral Tag. And you can just go to viraltag.com to try that out and start executing your Pinterest strategy that Anna's going to walk you through, or that she walked you through and she can teach you more about in her course. Okay, with that, let's open it up to questions. Let's see. Anna, we have a question. Someone's asking, how can you balance the sharing of your own content versus kind of the curation or sharing content from other people? So maybe, thinking specifically with real estate, how should you be balancing the maybe promoting of your own properties? As you mentioned, you don't want to just flood your Pinterest page with your own properties, but should people be sharing pictures of their properties at all?
Yes, I would have a board where, I have the different real estate that I have for sale on there with, of course, making it a clickable link to information back at your website. It's kind of like that old 80-20 principle, 80% social and 20% of the business part. But the part about repinning, saving other people's information on your board, I get that question a lot. And what I always say is, if it's ideas, like, showing how to get a spot out of your carpet that's on someone's board, share that on your, board, repin that, save that on your board, because that's giving them information. And if you stop and you think about it, it's like with me, I specialize in Pinterest. But if someone asks me a question about Facebook, I give them information on that. But at the same time, they're remembering that I helped them out, and my name is going to come up when they start considering Pinterest. So think about it in that way. I always compare Pinterest as a networking event. And that's really, if you start thinking about Pinterest as a big networking event online where you don't have to dress up and pay for a bad meal, then it helps you to be more creative and come up with items. And also, in thinking about, well, if I share someone else's information, that's going to send them to their website, and that's not really helping me. The same thing. If I share someone's business card at a networking event, they still remember me because I helped them out.
That's great. Another question, someone said, how should I brand my Pinterest profile? Should I be using my name or the name of my town or my real estate agency?
I would use the name of your real estate agency, and I would make sure that I had real estate in the name, because again, if people are typing in, say, real estate, then you want your account to come up as one of the suggestions on the search on Pinterest. Also, branding is very important, and you'll notice, like, even with my PowerPoint slide, I use the branding there. And you want to do the same thing with Pinterest, is use that branding with your boards and all. You may have noticed on the video the account that I showed there where we, with the real estate agent, and we made cards, so to speak, for each contributor, and that way our boards were consistent, and it really gave it, a nice look as far as that was concerned.
Cool. Another question about partnerships. You talked about the alliance approach. How should someone go about finding those alliances and kind of creating them?
Well, as I said before, most every realtor has, a handyman. Well, anytime I've bought a house and I've said, well, it needs a new roof, or I'm selling a house, they'll say, well, I have a roofer, and they give me the name, and I use them. So what I would do is all of those people that I use like that, I would say, hey, I want everyone to come over. I'm going to have some snacks. I have an idea to present to you. And tell them about it and get them, and help them to see how there's going to be that exponential effect. And it's just like with any type of marketing, what you have to do is, of course, get the word out there that it even exists. And if you can build that Pinterest account with all of you and all of your backers, then that's going to be such an exponential type of market that you're creating. Because, like I showed in the video there, somebody repins something from one of my boards where I'm showing how to grow a certain type of plant. Then if they have 2,000 followers, there's that potential of 2,000 people that my name would have never gone in front of, that are now seeing it, and the potential for at least one of those people to repin that, and then it continues to grow and more people. Also, something that I didn't touch on before in your previous question, make sure you put your location, because if somebody types in restaurants, New York restaurants, then you want to make sure that you have New York on your account, because that way, so that it comes up in the Pinterest search when somebody types that in the search bar.
Great. Um, let's see. One more question. Someone said, how much should I be posting on Pinterest?
I recommend that the minimum is at least 5 pins per day. And of course, that's where viral tag comes in, because you don't want all 5 of them to go up at the same time. So, if I'm managing an account and I gave them a cut rate deal and I'm only doing 5 pins a day, then, because I know from 8 to 12 at night is prime time for Pinterest. So, I have them go up at, say, 8:15, 9:15, 10:15, and so forth. But really, you should build it up to where you're pinning anywhere from 25 to 30 pins each day of your information. And then also repinning is definitely important. That helps as far as the way that Pinterest's algorithm is set up and people finding you.
Great. Any more questions? Okay, I think that those are the end of our questions, Anna, so we'll go ahead and wrap it up. But thank you so much for joining us, everyone. And Anna, thank you for the wonderful presentation. A lot of really great info in here. We're going to send out a recording of this presentation to everyone who registered, so don't worry if you didn't catch everything. And we'll be posting all the info and links as well on our blog with stuff to find Anna's course and some of the other things she referenced. So thank you again, and definitely be in touch with Anna or I if you have any other questions, and look forward to talking to you soon. Thanks, Anna.
Thank you.